Well, hello, my friends. We meet again. It has been a while. Where should we begin? Now, before I go and tell you my prediction for what AI will do to music in the coming years, let us define just what exactly is AI-generated music. It seems to me that in the next decade or so, society will have to come to a reckoning and collectively come together and really set a hard definition as to what is and what is not AI-generated art. I'm talking about music in this specific video, but we can apply the same thought processes to other forms of art as well. I'm sure that we are all in agreement that simply putting a text prompt into a website and receiving a piece of music is entirely AI-generated. Okay, that's totally fine. But what about if someone uses ChatGPT to write their lyrics, but makes the music themselves? What if someone used AI-generated melodies, but changed it up? What if they sampled AI-generated music in their own original work? Or even more mundane, what if they asked ChatGPT for a chord progression or for a word that rhymes with a line that they already wrote? Is that AI-generated art? I know that there are a lot of very useful tools that contain AI related to music and music creation. This all, completely muddies the water as to what exactly could be considered AI-generated music. So let us take a look at that word then, generated. Now, the English word generated, which is the past tense version of the word generate, which means in the context of AI is to cause something to exist or to produce from other things. This word comes from the Latin word generatus, which along with the noun genus gave birth to a lot of the words in which we use all the time in English, to vastly oversimplify the etymology of the word. Notice how we do not use the word create for AI art, as it is not AI created art. Now, why do I bring language and definitions into this discussion? Isn't this about art? Well, yes it is. However, tell me, what is the purpose of art? To communicate abstract human emotion and experience into a medium in which others can relate and are able to understand the emotions being communicated. Isn't this the exact same thing in which language does? Which AI is trained on? The subtle and intricate dance of the tongue around the mouth in perfect synchronization with the teeth, the lips, the vocal cords, and jaw muscles in a rhythmic fashion to produce sounds which communicate thoughts, feelings, emotions, information, and more. Language is an art, and you are a dancer by necessity. Every time you speak, you are emoting a dance and art through your tongue and through the way the sound reverberates through the air through your vocal cords. The symbols and text in which we use to represent various tongue and mouth positions and phonemes is also art. Make no mistake, you use art or view art in almost every single second of your day. Now, the fundamental question here that is raised, does AI have feelings or emotions that it can express? Sure, it can use art. It can use the mediums in which we have created that we call language and text to communicate information, but can it communicate abstract thought, feelings, or emotions? Can AI create? Or can it only use art already made by humans to produce art? It's more like you are using a program to order art. When creating something, both AI and human minds alike take into account various other factors. AI models are, and this is a vast oversimplification, are trained on existing pieces of art, languages, text, sound waves, etc., etc., etc. Basically anything they can get their hands on. And I'm sure there is more to this, but essentially an AI synthesizes already existing things to generate something new. When I come up with an idea for a song, for example, I think about the artist that I like, the sound in which I am aiming for, and perhaps the lyrics that I want to use. Of course, in addition to this, we have to add in my skill in the various mediums, my own unique biology, unconscious societal factors, and then what we also can call the human factor. The human factor is the unpredictable nature of human beings. Maybe I was feeling angry over something that happened at work that week. Maybe I was dehydrated and it caused my mind to work differently. Everyone knows that different emotional states can cause people to behave irrationally. Irrationally, this is the main difference. This human factor, this error, this irrationality, this soul is what the main difference is between AI models and human minds. Sure, AI can get things wrong, but that's not the same as having the human factor of irrationality. Can an AI square the circle? In your mind, you can picture a square becoming a circle, but that's a mathematical impossibility. Does an AI have a bad day at work? Does an AI have childhood trauma? Does an AI feel elation at the birth of a child? the crushing despair at a cancer diagnosis, the bitter taste of grief, the mindful joy of being in a flow state. Sure, it can emulate and say it's feeling these things, but it's not ever truly experiencing these things. And you can argue all you want that it can simulate these emotions through observing and learning from human beings, but everyone knows this is false and not nearly the same thing. So, in short, AIs generate and synthesize, and humans create. Both are similar, but only one brings into equation the soul, the human factor, or what you could call consciousness, this grand divine mystery which allows humans to feel and to emote. The same soul allows humans to produce original art which communicates real life emotions to other living beings with souls. It is this soul that allows humans to think outside the box and to create something novel and brand new. Think of it this way, the classic 9 dots problem. You have to connect all these 9 dots with only 4 lines. In a purely material and rational sense, this is impossible. No matter how big you make this box, which we can equate to the number of pieces of music, languages, essays, etc., 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 and AI is trained on, it will never be able to leave the material box to solve this problem. Whereas a human being can think outside this box, into the divine spiritual realm, into the consciousness, and is able to solve this problem. Human beings are both material and spiritual. AIs are purely material. This is why you are an individual, dual. You are both material and spiritual at the same time. This word individual comes from the Latin in, which means not, and divisi, which means to divide. So you are both the spiritual realm and the material realm. You are one being, indivisible. Whereas an AI, despite the fact that it may be contained in various servers and internet seemingly in an immaterial place, is definitely purely a material being, unconnected to whatever you want to call the greater spiritual energy that everyone knows exists. And you can call this God, the universe, Chi, Prana, or Brahman, whatever it is you want to call it. An AI by design can never truly ever have this. AIs do not and likely will not ever have souls, and you can cope all you want by saying, oh, an AI might be fear of being deleted or whatever, but if we do not understand our own consciousness, how can we ever put it inside a computer? This argument is pure copium. AIs cannot feel real human emotions because they are not real humans. An AI doesn't have to deal with the fact that he is staring into the great beyond, and nobody knows what happens to this soul, this consciousness that comes after. That is the main difference. So basically, that was all just a very long-winded explanation as to why AI art is soulless. Do you really think that AI could produce masterpieces of emotional and spiritual depth like Gang Starr's Moment of Truth?
Actions have reactions, don't be quick to judge. You may not know the hardships people don't speak of. It's best to stay.
Spiritbox's Constance? Or Alice in Chains' Nutshell? No, I genuinely do not think so. Thus, then, if we can isolate this instance of the human factor, then we can draw a line in the sand as to what is and what is not AI-generated music. Now, where exactly this line is in the creative process is pretty much unclear to me, and I'm sure smarter people than I will have to draw the line somewhere. Sort of similar to how international sport organizations allow some supplements but consider other supplements cheating and have banned them. And of course, I'm not saying that all music produced by humans is incredible, soul-searching works of art. Yeah, far from it. Human beings make banal and boring slop art all the time. Glenn Fricker put it the best.
A lot of people have been asking me, hey, Glenn, what do you think about AI and how, it can write songs and shit? Like, now, isn't that going to be the death of music? And I'm like, motherfucker, where have you been for the last 10 years? Okay, we didn't need AI to ruin heavy metal. We started doing that when we started putting it on a grid and timelining everything in Pro Tools.
Basically, we can do a fine enough job at ruining art by ourselves. We don't need more soulless slop, which most of the time is what AI art produces. Although, I will admit there probably are a few use cases. I really enjoyed the Lol Cow Live Boogie song.
Boogie, boogie, why you lying to yourself?
that they had there. I thought that was pretty funny. And to go and record a whole country band with a singer, you know, it's a lot of work. So for kind of funny one-off gags like that, I think it's okay. But, you know, anyways, that's sort of besides the point. Nobody's really listening to that as a great work of art. So as a society, we're going to have to draw a line and say that a human being must be involved in a majority or most of the creative process for it to not be considered AI generated. As honestly, there are a lot of very useful tools out there for people to enhance their own creativity and to make making music easier. So my prediction then is that as time goes on and AI gets better and better, we will fall back to large bureaucratic organizations to act as an authority on integrity, just as we've done in the past. And in this case, I think we will see some sort of labeling agency that will go and verify your art as being non-AI generated. Think of how the old blue Twitter checkmark used to work. We're already starting to see this with YouTube. You know, they are labeling things AI generated or changed. And, you know, when people are pumping thousands of AI art and songs out into the world, I'm sure other mediums and other platforms will follow suit. Some people, including myself, will seek out non-AI music, and those who simply do not care will go on to enjoy AI music, no problem. And honestly, that is probably a best case scenario for everyone, barring, you know, a Warhammer 40k outright religious ban on AI technology. If this does not happen, essentially we will see an extension of the dead internet theory into most of the internet. In fact, if some sort of firm line is not drawn on AI, it does not happen, it will likely be the end of the internet. Everyone has heard of the dead internet theory. Well, this would just make that problem a million times worse. Would you want to browse an internet that is all AI generated content? I know I wouldn't. In fact, I'm almost positive that we are being fooled by AI on some fronts already. I mean, just look at how good some of the stuff is now and think about what the people at the very top of the pyramid have access to and what they are able to create. And honestly, I would not be surprised that as the 2020s keeps moving along, that we might have a few Milli Vanilli incidents where an artist is exposed for being AI generated or largely AI influenced. You know, the mask comes off and it's ChatGPT. You may fool me into enjoying a song which is AI generated, but as soon as I learn that it is AI art, I guarantee I will not like it anymore, and I know there are countless others like me out there. So there may be another side effect in which the only way to guarantee authenticity is to actually see actual human beings play the instruments and sing the songs in real life, leading to a resurgence of local art scenes that is totally isolated away from this sort of mono culture of the internet. This outcome seems incredibly exciting to me, and I genuinely hope that things move this way. And of course, on the other hand, this might be just a generational issue. People like you and I who were alive and consuming and producing art before the rise of AI will be feverishly opposed to it, whereas the children of today, who will be tomorrow's adults, who will largely be raised with AI helping most tasks, you know, think of the Google AI search engine, ChatGPT helping you write essays, blah, blah, blah. They might not care at all if it is AI produced. It will just seem natural to them, and us dinosaurs who are opposed to the use of AI in art will be looked as the same way that we look at people who continue to use landline telephones, completely out of touch and out of date with technology, leading to an ever increase in the production and enjoyment of AI generated art, which I think is a truly dismal and dystopian future, to be sure, but I think that's a real possibility of something happening. And of course, I could be completely wrong on all this, and maybe I hope I'm wrong on all this. Maybe some other development will change, and there's an AI program which will be able to detect AI generated art, no problem, and everything will be labeled, and everything will be okay. Or maybe society just collapses, you know. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, I will gladly admit that my prediction is wrong. But yeah, you know, let me know your thoughts on this issue, guys. I'm keenly interested in hearing the thoughts of what my audience thinks. I think you guys are all pretty smart individuals, so are we doomed? Anyways, like I said in the title, this will be the only video I ever make on AI art, so thanks for watching.